Hi, some stupid sketch show guy here with another news video, and today's news video is the 2024 Schleich species list for their prehistoric line. Yeah, I can't believe it. This is like the 5th time I've done this. I don't know, I don't keep track anymore. At this rate, I'll become a dinosaur on their next year's list. Anyways, dumb jokes aside, we got a pretty big list of dinosaurs that they plan on making, and I'm kind of excited, so let's groove. First up, we got a Nanotyrannus. This one's gonna be interesting because, well, it's Nanotyrannus. It may not even be real. Although I'm not a paleontologist, so don't ask me about that, as someone who actually knows paleontology. But I actually am somewhat enthusiastic about this figure because their previous juvenile figures for their big theropods, like the Giganotosaurus and the T-Rex, are actually better made than the actual adult figures. Man, some dinosaurs just don't age well. So maybe this Nanotyrannus will get some of that good luck. Next up, we got a twosome. A baby and an adult Mamenchisaurus. You know, straight out of the Carnegie days. I'm pretty excited to see how this goes, because Mamenchisaurus is one of my favorite sauropods of all time. So I am curious to see how Schleich is going to take on this dinosaur's hilariously long neck proportion. Are they going to give it a little tail club like the Collect Day version? Are they going to have it straight up like this? Or are they going to go with this ridiculous design from the classic safari days? Yeah, this is also a Mamenchisaurus, quote-unquote. Man, I can barely even frame this thing on camera, it's so long. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we're going to get a sort of middle ground between this and this. Or something else entirely. Either way, I'm excited to see what happens, because I love me a Mamenchisaurus. Next up is a figure that Schleich has done before, but I am still excited to see them redo it, and not for the reasons you think. Shonisaurus. Now, the first time they did this, they nailed it on the head. I really like their first Shonisaurus, and of course, anything good from many years ago in the dinosaur figure community is super rare. So I'm excited to see a Shonisaurus that's somewhat readily available, made by Schleich. All they really have to do is not stray too far away from the first one they did, and they'll be as good as gold. Will they do that? Well, I'm a little worried to see what happens, but if they stick to the principle and, do what they did last time, they should have another great sea creature. Next up is something a little off the beaten path for Schleich, and that is Sinosauropteryx, a tiny, feathery dinosaur. Now, Schleich has done feathers before, and sometimes they really sucked. You know, they're Utahraptors, they're Velociraptors with those really bad feathers, but they've also done good before. Their Gallimimus from last year was actually a really good example of a fully feathered dinosaur. If they stay towards the Gallimimus and further away from whatever the heck these are, then I think they might actually have a pretty good figure. And also, Sinosauropteryx doesn't really have a dinosaur figure of it to my knowledge, so I'm glad to see a new dinosaur getting its representation. And speaking of Opteryxes, we have Archaeopteryx as another species on their list. Now, most of my hopes and dreams concerning this figure are similar to those of the Sinosauropteryx. As long as they keep it more in line with their fully feathered Gallimimus and not as much with their raptors, then we might have something pretty good. And that also lies my worries and concerns. Let's just hope that it can stand up to the Papo and the Safari Archaeopteryxes, because both of those are actually really good figures. And that kind of covers all the dinosaur species that I'm really excited for. The next couple are a little in my opinion. So we have an Apatosaurus, and originally I made a take thinking that this was a Schleich Apatosaurus already, and that it was a little too recent to be making another Apatosaurus figure. Turns out I forgot that this is actually a Brontosaurus figure, even though it's based off of the Jurassic World Apatosaurus, at least somewhat. So that was on me. I mean, technically, their most recent Apatosaurus was made in 2011, and it could use a bit of a redo. So, you know what? Go for it. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, it's not another Jurassic World inspiration, because that'd be really weird. But I have some hope that they won't do that. There's also two very vague dinosaur figures on here. there's a Dromeosaur and a Megalosaur. I don't know if that's just the fact that the person who found out this species list wasn't able to decipher what it was and is just giving a guess, or this is what Schleich is actually going for and they haven't decided yet. There's a lot of different things that could come from this, so I'm just going to hold my breath on what's going to come from a Megalosaur and a Dromeosaur. Maybe this could be a new leaf for Schleich, giving a new good raptor species, or finally giving Megalosaurus a proper representation. Well, I mean, we've had a few good Megalosaurus figures, but another one won't hurt for a surprisingly underrepresented dinosaur, even though it is the OG. There's also going to be, let's see here, a nest of Maisaurua, just the eggs. Okay, that's not really for me, but that sounds pretty nice. And a research of dinosaur fossils. Those kinds of things don't really worry me that much, as that's not really what I look for, but if you like those sort of things, good for you. I think these would be pretty cool props to use in dinosaur shows, or even just dioramas and stuff. And that's everything on the list. That's pretty meaty for Schleich, and Schleich always comes out with quite a few species every year. Overall, I am not sure how excited I should be, because I do like the species they have chosen, but you never know until they actually show it. That's kind of part of the fun of this. This is part 1, and there's part 2 coming, actually I don't know when, but we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and comment down your expectations for species, and also comment down species you want to see other figure companies attempt later this year, and I will see you guys next time.